the plan that I have is to put those centers all over the city. We're not going to do it overnight, but we have a plan that is transforming recreation to make it what people would want to go to, and not just something that's a last resort. That's what I would want to send my daughter to, and that's what I'm going to provide for the community. State-of-the-art recreation centers, longer hours, more staff, better programming throughout the city.
We had, yes sir, Mr. Mark Washington, we're coming back to the front row.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Mayor and Commissioner Batts. My name is Mark Washington. That is not a staged photo.
That's right.
That is actually a public safety walk that we took in Chum.
That's right.
Those are Chum residents. I was at the public safety forum on the east side. I heard somebody say that was a staged photo. I was like, no, that's not a staged photo. That's real people doing real public safety work. I see that Mark somehow photoshopped me out, but that's okay. The Green Church Friends Center that the Madam Mayor mentioned is in my community. Of course, phase 2 will be starting soon. And I really do appreciate that. I do appreciate the question that Mr. Lewis asked earlier, because it was the question that I had in mind. A good friend of mine, Tony, died at the hands of the police department. And what was more egregious after his death was the inaction of the state's attorney's office. And I don't want to politicize that, but I'm from the east side. I know what it's like. Councilman Scott is a good friend of mine, and we kind of went back and forth on the curfew issue. But what we have to understand is that it's a responsibility of government to protect and to look out for those who are most vulnerable. It's a shame that that has to be done through a curfew law, but that's the reality in which we live in. But I digress. It took me a while to think of another question because there were so many great questions. My question has to do not so much with the police department, it's more or less a community question, and it has to do with collaborative support coming from other city agencies. I will give you 2 examples here. Major Worley has become my secretary. Every time that there's police action taken at a home in Chum, Major Worley now sends a letter out to the landlord or to the property owner, notifying them in a very nice way that some type of need for police service occurred at their home. Now what happens is we automatically get calls from residents that say, hey, wait a minute, you know, nothing's going on here, and all we do is simply try to figure out how we can help. The most interesting calls come from the landlords, who know sometimes that their properties are involved in illegal or criminal activity, but yet they still profit from that. There is no law that applies to them for aiding, abetting, or harboring criminal activity, and I think that's unjust. Yeah. Nevertheless, the question is, and I'm sorry, thank you, God. The question is, what strategy do you all have for aiding and assisting the police department by having other city agencies come to their support? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mark, and thank you for walking with us. I thought I saw your ear back here in the... So, you know I believe in interagency approach. We've taken that approach in tackling areas where we've had chronic violence repeatedly. We started in the Oliver community on the east side. We've done one on the west side, and I know Kevin Cleary's in the back. Which was the one we just finished?
Madison Monument.
Right, Madison Monument, and that's where we take all of the city agencies and our out-of-city partners, such as BGE and some other places, and then we take that interagency approach. I know that we have our schedule for where we're doing that for this year. But I know, we can work together on if that approach will work in the Chum community, because I do not believe it's on the schedule for that interagency task force this year, but we can work on it. In the meantime, we can talk about specific issues about where there needs to be additional support, and we can get that support for you. We've made a lot of progress, and we're not done.
Part of it, if I could also add to that, Madam Mayor, is that I was having a discussion
with this gentleman who we just tracked down right now, Daryl D'Souza. He doesn't know what I'm talking about, but I'm giving him the microphone. I had a meeting with my executive team in my office this afternoon, and part of the discussion was we were putting together a response to some issues that have taken place in the community, a task force. And part of that is what we were doing is that the mayor has set the tone that she would like us to respond in a collaborative way with other resources within, and that's community policing as a whole and in sustaining the community. So what Daryl was putting together, I will share with him exactly the plan that you were putting together that uses the collaborative method in the police department as we work together.
Glad to be back in the Northeast District. When I got here in 2008, I had no gray hair and I didn't wear glasses. The commissioner has tasked us with respect to the recent violence we've seen to work collaboratively with all the city agencies. So we actually are going back at 12 o'clock, all the commanders, all 9 commanders from all the districts going back at midnight tonight to finish the plan off. You guys can bring coffee for us if we're going to need it. But this plan addresses issues on the law enforcement side, like Ms. Angela Jolie said earlier, with juveniles, the city side, lighting, transportation, DPW. It's not just a fight that we plan to do with just the police alone itself. On the police side, however, we've picked and we've located, we've identified certain parts of the city that see the greatest spikes. And what I can say is, I don't want to share the locations right now, but we have an initiative that's coming forward. Within the next couple of days, it's really gonna hit home for a lot of people. And like the mayor said earlier, it's not everyone in Baltimore is not bad. We're specifically targeting certain folks, certain areas, certain gangs in the city. And it's not just Baltimore, it's just an entire team effort. So not just here in the Northeast, but other parts of the city, no matter where you live, we need your help. We're gonna be deployed out there. If you see something, we're just asking you to be our extra eyes and ears for us.
Thank you, sir. We'll go back to that side of the room, and then we'll come back over here. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, Mayor. My name is Monica Oliver. I'm a member of the Las Vegas Association, and I've heard before that you said that we're going to have this contract signed in July or whatever, and that I just heard again that you're going to reallocate the members of the police department wherever there's a problem. But we have been bringing up certain things every month at the meeting about certain areas in our area specifically about where there's problems, but we don't see any type of police presentation at all. I live on a block and I don't see one maybe every 10 days. I will see a police car come down my block. We have called about certain areas, and not just young ones. We're talking about the older adults, the teenage ones like Morgan, where they party outside 2 o'clock in the morning. And we have called, but we don't see a police car connected at all.
So, Ms. Oliver, you said you're active in the Rock Raven
Yes.
Association, and I just want to be clear, so we're on the same page. Has there been police representation at your community meetings?
Yes.
So you're saying they've been there but haven't been responsive?
Yes.
So I'd like to hear first from the major.
I'm going to let the major respond, but I'm going to say to the Lieutenant Colonel, if you stand real quick. This is Lieutenant Colonel Matthews. In the next meeting that I come to, I don't want to hear that she says that, so I want you to contact her before we leave and make sure that she gets the response and sees the police presence over there other than every 10 days. Would you share what you've been working on?
Yes, sir. Basically, what we've been doing is the same thing. You can look at Lock Raven, Ramblewood area. We've been moving our foot people around. Our officers have been deployed there. Can you share which street you're on with me? Watch it. Okay. 1500 block? Okay.
Back behind the park, where it's real dark.
Back behind Park Raven Apartments. We've actually come up with an agreement, and it's worked really well with the Park Raven Apartments. They've actually given us the authority to enforce curfew and trespassing incidents on their property. So we make an arrest. They don't have to be doing anything on the property. If they're trespassing on the property or not residents, we can make an arrest. So that's helped us a lot. So most likely what we've had is a displacement because we put a lot of emphasis on the Ramblewood and the Park Raven that now move back to your area. So we'll just adjust our tactics and move back to you, and you'll see an improvement.
You know, there's another thing that I wanted to comment on another part of the city. So the lieutenant colonel has his mission map. He will follow up and he will contact you at the end of the meeting, and you see that we have been working there. I did hear what you said about the lighting, so that didn't pass me. So Lieutenant Colonel, if we can see if we can address that and deal with that. You know, just yesterday at about noon, I was at Frederick Douglass High School. So I'm going to the different high schools on a regular. Oh, got a graduate. The oldest black high school in the city, correct? Yeah. Okay, see, so that's why I didn't mention those high schools, because I knew I was going to miss them. But I was at Frederick Douglass High School yesterday, and I was sitting with probably a group of anywhere from, I think, 15 to 25 young people. And I went there to do what we're doing here, is to listen to the young people and to talk to them. And this is the interesting part. Because when I was talking to them, they go, Commissioner, why can't we ride our motorcycles wherever we want to ride our motorcycles, our dirt bikes, right? I said, do any of you guys have a license? Well, no. But we want to ride our dirt bikes. So I asked them the question. I said, what is it that we can do as we work with you to try to address this problem in a positive way? Well, just give us a place to motocross, where we can go out and do our own motocrossing thing and to address those things. And I said, well, how are you going to get that motorcycle from point A to point B? You know, you don't have a truck, you don't have a license, so how are you going to get that? Well, I don't know the answer to that. Well, do you have insurance that you have to ride, that you can ride that motorcycle or that dirt bike, I should say that motorcycle, that dirt bike on the streets? Well, no. Well, why can't we do it? Do you guys ever hear that the adults, you scare the heck out of the adults that are in the west side of this city? Well, no, that shouldn't scare them. I said, okay, let me take you to another thing. If we were able, if I had the money and I had the power and I could give you insurance, helmets, equipment, and put you in a space and do this the right way, would you go there? And they go, yeah, we'll go there and we'll ride. And then one guy said, no, we wouldn't go there. And I said, well, why wouldn't you go there? He said, the fun is you guys chasing us. But this is what I want to say, then I'm going to bring it back in, is that there was a young man who went on TV who said that I should be able to ride my motorcycle anyway, and he said that the police officer did something, and the police officer said that he actually crashed his own motorcycle, but he wants to accuse the police officer. And then his mother came on, and his mother said, leave him alone, let him do whatever he wants to do. If they want to ride bikes in the city of Baltimore, they can ride bikes anytime they want. Do whatever they want to do. Remember when I had that conversation about that 20-year-old who had that weapon? Yeah. And that they weren't born that way? Exactly. Part of the responsibility, part of the things that we need to start talking about, and I think the young lady, one of the young ladies here got up and talked and said, how did these kids get here? This is, and how can we help? And we talk about Parks and Rec, that's what you were, you're talking about Parks and Rec. Here's the thing, and I'm going to make a challenge. And I make a challenge at all these meetings, and I'm going to challenge you guys at this, because I'm not going to let you walk away and say, Commissioner, what can you do? Or Mayor, what can you do? Now I'm going to push back on the community just a little bit. Yeah. You may drag me out here, but I'm going to push back on the community a little bit. Just like this mom who said, you can do anything that you want to do. Basically telling her child, you can do anything that you want to. Just like the parents that allow their kids to be out at 2 a.m. in the morning. You can do anything that you want to do. There is no rules. There is no rules. And the government has to take care of it. But these kids at some point in time were 5 years old. At some point in time they were 4 years old. Those are angels. Those are not bad kids. They may be little rambunctious, but they're kids at 5 and 4 years old. And I get it that most people